Hello again, people of the internet. I want to say thank you again to all the people that give me such great response to my filament loader for 3D printing. I just want to let everybody know that I did get it converted to fit onto a Creality metal extruder. I'm assuming it's going to fit onto a plastic one, although I would think that's one of the very first upgrades anybody should do with an ender, is to change out the plastic one. But just want to let everybody know that I have it working now on that Creality, and I'm going to show you that right now. Hello again. I just wanted to share with you folks, since I had a lot of questions about whether or not the extruder filament loader would work on any other extruder besides the dual gear unit that is all over the internet, or I spoke about it in my earlier videos. So what I wanted to let everybody see was I was able to do a little re-engineering of it and made a second model that has a slightly different base unit. It doesn't require the other bolt-on lug underneath, and I've made some changes to the back of it because as the Creality swing arm is not as fat, I had to make the unit fit to it. But let me show you right now how easy this is to install. Once you cut your Bowden tube to the correct length that is going to bottom out on the shoulder of the extruder swing arm. Now in this case it is the Creality only has the small hole the size of your filament. I did take a drill bit and bore that out just a little bit so that the Bowden tube would fit inside there. But again, as I mentioned before, do not drill all the way through, or else your Bowden tube will slip all the way down into your drive gears, and you don't want that. So in order to install this, you will have to take off the swing arm spring. So I'm just going to pop that loose just so that I can get the bolt out of the pivot arm. It's easier this way. You could probably get it on without taking this off, but it makes it a lot simpler. So as I said, once this Bowden tube is cut to the right length, and you can tell that by cutting it or trimming it till it sits flush, then all you have to do is rotate it around and then take the other clamp piece that goes on the side, put that in there, and run the screws down. And that's it to attaching it to the Creality swing arm. So I'll just put this back together. Put the spring back on. As I get that one down into position, there she goes. Alright, that's all there is to installing it. Works exactly the same as the other one that I showed in my previous videos, and as you can see, depending on how it mounts, I'm also releasing a file. Because of where this mounts on an Ender 3, it would sit sideways like this behind the gantry over here, but the Z-rod would sit roughly right here. So there's an extra bracket that would just basically take the whole extruder and move it back 2 inches or the 40 millimeters, the width of the actual stepper motor. So there's a plate I came up with that'll actually just bolt onto the existing extruder location and then just offset the extruder back. Well, it's actually 42 millimeters, but that's it. So this will just lay flat if you're using the standard Bowden tube setup. Now if you're using in a direct drive, then it would obviously mount the way I did it on mine that I saw or showed you earlier in the other video. But anyway, there's the device again, and I'm going to show you how it works on this exact plate in just a few moments. There you can see the first filament going into the loader, and then the second one coming down, being fed right into the drive gears, and the one just ended while the next one came on through. So that one again with a few minor adjustments and a little bit of bracketing changes. It fits without any modifications to the extruder, unless of course you don't have the hole in the top large enough for a filament, in which case you have to open it up a little bit. But the unit just clamps on by just, if you take off the 2 screws on the side, the unit rotates on top of the filament as a pivot point, or on top of the Bowden tube. So there's very little to do to install it. You don't even have to remove it off your machine.